In the summer of 1996, in the home of football, the Spanish national team, La Roja, brought to the misty land a squad filled with outstanding talents. Men expected to break the curse of being the king of qualifiers that had haunted them for decades. Under the guidance of Javier Clemente, Spain that year displayed a style full of technique yet equally gritty, a blend of Latin artistry and tenacious fighting spirit. They remained unbeaten in the group stage and played a memorable quarterfinal against hosts England at the Wembley Sanctuary. But then, cruel destiny on the penalty spot once again closed their dream in tears. Although they did not touch the silver trophy, that generation laid the first bricks for a mighty Spanish empire that would rise later. Nearly 30 years have passed since that Wembley summer. Those young men with flowing hair are now middle-aged men, having tasted all the sweetness and bitterness of life. Some have become great strategists, changing the football world. Some found peace amidst family tragedies, and others have had to face the storms of the law. Let us open the files on the lives of the 12 most prominent figures in the 1996 Spain squad, to see that behind the aura of the pitch are human fates full of emotion. Andoni Zubizarreta. Position, goalkeeper/captain. In the 1996 Spain squad, Andoni Zubizarreta was not just a goalkeeper, he was a monument, a true elder brother. At 34, with the captain's armband, Zubi was the most solid spiritual anchor for his teammates. Not possessing spectacular flying saves like a bird, Zubi conquered fans with astonishing calmness, intelligent positioning, and absolute stability. He is a living witness to the ups and downs of Spanish football, a man who stood in goal through 4 consecutive World Cups. At Euro 96, although Spain stopped early, Zubi's certainty remained an undeniable bright spot. After retiring in 1998, a sad ending following a mistake at the World Cup in France, Zubizarreta chose not to leave football behind. He put on a smart suit and entered the upper echelons as a sporting director. He held this position at Athletic Bilbao, Barcelona, and Marseille. It was Zubi who was behind key signings that helped Barcelona maintain its dominance, but it was also he who bore the brunt of public criticism whenever the team failed. His managerial life was as turbulent as the goalkeeper position he once held. Make 10 saves, and no one remembers. Make one mistake and thousands criticize. Away from the pressure of work, Zubizarreta is a family man, quiet and intellectual. He rarely appears in tabloids, choosing a private life. He frequently participates in football seminars, writes articles, and comments as an expert with deep insight. The composure on the pitch seems to have seeped into his life, helping him calmly walk past criticism to live true to his philosophy. Today, after leaving managerial positions, Andoni Zubizarreta is enjoying a peaceful life, occasionally appearing on television to share valuable experience with the younger generation. A legend living forever with the record of 126 national team caps. Fernando Hierro. Position, center back. Fernando Hierro at Euro 1996 was a great paradox of world football. A center back carrying the soul of a striker. At 28, Hierro was at the peak of his form in a Real Madrid shirt. He was the bedrock of the defense with a fierce style of play, unafraid of collisions, but at the same time a fearsome goal scorer with hammer-like long shots and cold-blooded penalty-taking ability. Hierro was a leader who didn't need to shout, for his authority radiated from his talent and dedication. He was the one who missed the fateful penalty against England, a scar difficult to heal but also the motivation for him to be stronger later. After hanging up his boots, Hierro's career turned in many different directions but was always linked to leadership roles. He served as the sporting director of the Royal Spanish Football Federation, crafting the golden era that won the 2010 World Cup and Euro 2012. But fate teased him by placing him in the hot seat as head coach of Spain at the 2018 World Cup just 2 days before the tournament began, a chaotic firefighting situation where despite great effort, he could not bring glory. He also tried his hand at coaching Real Oviedo and working in Mexico. Hierro's personal life is a model of professionalism and discretion. However, after divorcing his longtime wife, he found new happiness with the beautiful journalist Fanny Stipkovich and recently welcomed a little angel in his 50s. This shows that the flame of love for life and the desire for happiness in him have never been extinguished. The grittiness of a steel defender years ago has now been replaced by the maturity and composure of a seasoned man. Today, Fernando Hierro is serving as sporting director for Al Nassr Club in Saudi Arabia, where he reunited with old teammate Cristiano Ronaldo, continuing the journey of creating new values for football. Miguel Ángel Nadal. Position: center back. Miguel Ángel Nadal, nicknamed the Beast, was the terror of every striker at Euro '96. At 30, Nadal brought muscular strength and grit to the Spanish defense. He was not a defender who played with elegance, but with overwhelming physical power and an uncompromising fighting spirit. As a key part of Johan Cruyff's Barcelona dream team, Nadal proved that efficiency is more important than visual beauty. He was a reliable stopper alongside Abelardo, creating a solid wall in front of Zubizarreta's goal. After retiring, Nadal chose a rather quiet path compared to his teammates. He had a short time as an assistant coach at Mallorca, but he spent most of his time with his family and life on his beautiful home island. The most interesting thing when mentioning the name Nadal later is not his football career, but the role of an uncle, a mentor for another sports legend, Rafael Nadal. Miguel Ángel is the biological uncle, the one who has always stood by to support and inspire the king of clay, Rafael Nadal. Miguel Ángel Nadal's current life revolves around elegant hobbies like playing golf, tennis, and enjoying the Mediterranean sea air. He is proof that a player with a brutal style on the pitch can be a gentle man, loving family, and living sentimentally in real life. He does not care for fame, does not chase the aura of the coaching profession, but is satisfied with the role of a solid rearguard for his family. Today, the Beast of yesteryear is living peaceful days in Mallorca, occasionally appearing in the stands to cheer for his talented nephew, with the satisfied smile of a person who has lived fully with passion. Abelardo Fernández. Position: center back. Abelardo Fernández, affectionately known as Pitu, was Nadal's most compatible partner in the center of defense. In 1996, at the age of 26, Abelardo was in the prime of his career. Unlike the rugged appearance later when he shaved his head, Abelardo at that time was an intelligent center back, capable of reading situations and covering excellently. He was one of the indispensable elements of Barcelona and the Spanish team throughout the 90s. The close friendship between him and Luis Enrique from their youth in Gijón to fighting together at Barcelona is a beautiful story of football. After hanging up his boots, Abelardo embarked on a thorny coaching career. He is known as a skilled firefighter, specializing in rescuing teams from the risk of relegation. The emotional peak of his managerial career was leading his hometown team Sporting Gijón to promotion to La Liga amidst financial difficulties, a feat likened to a miracle. He also managed Alaves and Espanyol with a fiery style just like when he was playing. However, the high-pressure life of a coach has left many marks on his face. Abelardo in real life is a frank, sincere man who loves his job dearly. He is not afraid to show emotion, from tears of happiness to rages in the press room. Although his coaching career has had its ups and downs, being fired and then appointed again, Abelardo has never lost faith in himself. Today, Abelardo is still looking for new challenges on the coaching bench, carrying the enthusiasm of the defender from years ago to ignite the fire for his students. Pep Guardiola. Position: central midfielder. Pep Guardiola at Euro 1996 was the genius brain in Spain's midfield. At 25, Pep did not have an ideal physique, nor wine-tearing speed, but he possessed a football thinking ahead of his time. He was the ball circulation station, the person who kept the rhythm for the whole team. Every attacking ball had to pass through Pep's feet. The image of the slender midfielder with the number 4 shirt commanding his teammates became a symbol. Although Spain was not successful that year, Pep's class was undeniable. Pep's playing career afterward met many obstacles with injuries and doping allegations, which were later cleared. But his coaching career is truly a living legend. From Barcelona, Bayern Munich, to Manchester City, Pep Guardiola has completely changed global football thinking with the philosophy of ball control and high pressing. He became the most successful coach of the 21st century, collecting a series of Champions League and National League titles. He is honored as the Einstein of football. Pep's personal life is as sophisticated and profound as the way he directs tactics. He is a lover of art, fashion, and always appears with a polished look. Although a public figure, Pep protects his family's privacy very carefully. He is also a patriotic son, always concerned about his homeland Catalonia. The wisdom and perfectionism to the point of obsession on the pitch reflect a person who always craves perfection in life. Today, Pep Guardiola is still standing on top of the world with Manchester City, continuing to write golden chapters and reshape the way we watch football. Luis Enrique. Position: midfielder/forward. Luis Enrique, Lucho? It was the embodiment of the flame of passion and rare versatility at Euro 96. At 26, he could play in every position, from fullback, midfielder to striker. The shocking transfer from Real Madrid to Barcelona that year only added to his strong and somewhat rebellious personality. On the pitch, Lucho was a warrior who never stepped back, one ready to bleed, like the image at World Cup '94 for the flag. At Euro 96, he was a dangerous drill, bringing mutation to Spain's play. Luis Enrique's later coaching career was equally brilliant with the historic treble with Barcelona in 2015. However, life dealt him an excruciatingly painful tragedy. In 2019, he had to temporarily leave the Spanish national team hot seat to care for his young daughter Zana, who suffered from bone cancer. When she passed away at the age of 9, the whole football world cried with him. But then, Lucho rose from that pain in an extraordinary way, returning to lead the national team and currently, PSG, stronger and more resilient than ever. Luis Enrique also surprised fans with the image of a streamer with millions of views on Twitch during the 2022 World Cup, where he shared about life, philosophy, and even the pain of losing his child with a strangely optimistic attitude. He is also an excellent Ironman triathlete. The grittiness on the pitch years ago is now a shell for a warm heart, full of love and extraordinary vitality. Today, Luis Enrique is continuing to conquer new heights in Paris, carrying the smile of little angel Zana in his heart as an endless source of motivation. José Luis Caminero. Position: attacking midfielder. José Luis Caminero was the brightest star, the soul of Spain's attacking play at Euro 96. At 29, Caminero was experiencing the best season of his career, having just helped Atletico Madrid win a historic double. At the tournament on English soil, he had a moment of genius, a spine-twisting dribble that completely eliminated Miguel Ángel Nadal in the match Atletico met Barça, and classy touches at the Euro. Caminero that year was the embodiment of elegance, technique, and explosive ability, the #1 hope of the land of bullfighting. However, the path after Caminero's glory was bumpy and full of dark patches. After retiring, he took on the role of sporting director at Valladolid, Atletico Madrid, and Malaga. Although he had a keen eye for talent, bringing in many quality signings, his reputation was seriously tarnished by legal troubles. He was accused of involvement in a money laundering and drug trafficking ring, facing prison sentences and long-lasting trials. Caminero's life is a stark contrast between light and darkness. An artist on the pitch admired by thousands, but when stepping out into real life, he got lost in temptations. Nevertheless, he still tried to maintain professional work in football, trying to wash away past mistakes with management ability. Today, José Luis Caminero lives more quietly, retreating backstage, a costly lesson about keeping oneself safe from traps after the spotlight fades. Santiago Cañizares. Position: goalkeeper. Santiago Cañizares at Euro 96 was the backup goalkeeper for Zubizarreta, but his talent and personality were not inferior. At 26, with his striking platinum-dyed hair and extraordinary reflexes, Cañizares was always ready to shine. He was a modern goalkeeper type, commanding the box well and capable of launching attacks. Although not playing much at that tournament, his presence was a guarantee for the depth of the Spanish squad. Cañizares' career later flourished brilliantly with Valencia, where he became a legend with 2 Champions League final appearances. But fate also teased him with a bizarre injury, dropping a perfume bottle on his foot right before the 2002 World Cup, causing him to miss the biggest tournament on the planet. After retiring, Cañizares became a sharp football commentator and even participated in rally racing, showing a fierce passion for speed. But the biggest tragedy of his life was not the injury, but the pain of losing a child. In 2018, his 5-year-old son Santi passed away due to illness. That pain could knock anyone down, but Cañizares chose to face it by cherishing beautiful memories. He frequently shares about his son with pride, turning pain into strength to live better. Today, Santiago Cañizares is a reputable media figure, a resilient father, and the image of his platinum hair remains an indelible symbol in the hearts of fans. Kiko Narváez. Position: striker. Kiko Narváez, or simply Kiko, was the lanky striker with magical feet at Euro 96. At 24, Kiko was the icon of Atletico Madrid with an improvisational style, handling the ball with incredible finesse compared to his 90 meters height. He was the author of important goals and the famous Archer celebration that Fernando Torres later inherited. Kiko brought to the Spanish team a unique attacking option, both good at holding up play and capable of deciding the match himself. Kiko's career was significantly affected by persistent ankle injuries, causing him to retire quite early at only 30 years old. However, Kiko's charm with his public did not stop there. With a humorous personality, eloquence, and intelligence, he quickly became one of the most beloved commentators and football experts in Spain on radio and television. He brings cheerful, optimistic perspectives on football, just like the way he played. In real life, Kiko is a person who enjoys life, always bringing laughter to those around him. He did not choose the high-pressure coaching path, but chose to share his love for football through words. His media career is as brilliant as his playing career. Today, Kiko Narvaez is still a familiar face on Spanish television, an archer still shooting arrows of joy into the hearts of the audience. Alfonso Perez. Position: striker. Alfonso Perez, the striker with the famous white boots, was the speedy attacking spearhead of Spain in 1996. At 23, Alfonso stood out with his tricky dribbling and goal-scoring instinct. He was a hero of Real Betis, loved so much that Getafe Club, his hometown, named their stadium after him, Coliseum Alfonso Perez. At Euro 96, he was the hope for a mutation in the attack. Alfonso's career was later linked to Betis and Barcelona, then back to Betis. He was one of the best strikers in Betis history. After retiring, Alfonso also participated in matches for the Real Madrid and Barcelona veterans teams. However, his life recently became involved in a major controversy regarding social views, causing the Getafe City Council to decide to remove his name from the stadium in 2023. This was a huge shock to the honor of a legend. This incident shows that life is never a straight line. Alfonso, from a hero carved in statues, suddenly faced a wave of criticism for his statements. Nevertheless, for pure football fans, the image of Alfonso with white boots dancing amidst surrounding defenders remains a beautiful memory. Today, Alfonso Perez lives more privately, focusing on personal business and spending time with his family, contemplating the ups and downs of fame. Sergi Barjuan. Position: left back. Sergi Barjuan, often called Sergi, was the silver arrow on the left flank of Spain. At 24, Sergi possessed terrifying speed and tireless ability to attack and defend. He was an elite product of La Masia, discovered and trusted by Johan Cruyff. At Euro 96, Sergi was the #1 choice, bringing dynamism and dangerous crosses. He represented the modern fullback model, always ready to surge forward like a winger. After dedicating his best years to Barcelona and then Atletico Madrid, Sergi moved into coaching. He managed the Barcelona youth team, Recreativo Almeria, and at one point was appointed interim coach of the Barcelona first team during the crisis period before Xavi took over. Although he has not achieved resounding success on the coaching bench, Sergi is always highly rated for his dedication and love for his old club. Sergi in real life is quite simple and loyal. He always maintains good relationships with old teammates and is part of the Barcelona family. And his life revolves around youth football, where he pours his heart into nurturing future talents. Today, Sergi Barjuan is still diligent with training work at Barcelona, playing the role of an inspirer, preserving the La Masia identity for the next generation. Jose Francisco Molina. Position: goalkeeper. Jose Francisco Molina is a special name on this list. At Euro 96, he was the third goalkeeper. But the strange thing is that in the opening match against Norway in 2000, another tournament, he once had to enter the field to play, midfielder because the team ran out of players. But in 96, at the age of 25, he was the excellent goalkeeper of Atletico Madrid in the double-winning season. Molina was famous for his good footwork and bravery. Molina's life is an epic of vitality. In 2002, while at the peak of his form at Deportivo La Coruña, he was diagnosed with testicular cancer. The whole football world was shocked, but Molina did not collapse. He fought the vicious disease, underwent chemotherapy, and returned to the pitch miraculously, even playing at the top level for many more years. That is one of the most inspiring stories of Spanish football. After retiring, Molina served as the sporting director of the Spanish Football Federation, succeeding Hierro. His calmness and near-death experience helped him have a deep and humane perspective in management. He is living proof that one must never surrender to fate. Today, Jose Francisco Molina is still dedicating himself to football in technical management roles, carrying the lesson of resilience to pass on to anyone facing difficulties in life.